Hello, hello. I'm so glad you are here today with Jewel Diamond Taylor. Yes, yes, yes. I get so excited when I get to do my interview series. And I want to get to know more about the sisters that are in my Women on the Grow tribe. So you're going to start meeting some of them because I have an amazing group of women in my life, so diverse, so talented, so amazing, so loving, so compassionate, so creative. And so today we are going to focus on my sister friend, Dr. Yetta Young. Hey, sister, how you doing?
Aw,
Isn't this amazing?
hi.
Years we're sitting up here doing a Zoom when
Yes,
we used to be in big rooms full of wonderful women at Maria Dowd's African American Women on Tour conferences, and you let me know that by showing me one of our pictures from back, was it the 90s?
yes, very early in the 90s. Yes.
Wow. And I treasure
Yes,
my
that is where I first got to know Jewel Diamond Taylor. I used to attend the conference every year. And as you know, you were the mistress of ceremonies every year. So every year, and I made sure when I signed up, because we could sign up for all these various workshops. And
uh-huh.
I said, I have to go to Jewel Diamond Taylor's workshop every year. I still have cassette tapes. I'm going to get them transcribed, or what do you say? I'm going to get them transferred to digital. They're still relevant.
Wow.
those
I don't,
messages, those messages are evergreen, relevant messages that are still relevant today.
wow, that's so amazing that we are still connected. And every time I see you walk in the room at our events, you've been to all of the retreats, you've been to
Yes.
so many events, and our sisters love you and
Oh,
just
I
revel
love
in
them
you.
too.
Yeah, it just fills up the room. And I'm just so proud that you're actually one of our sister sowers too. So thank you for believing in our mission. And I certainly believe in you too, because I always say, girl, bring your products. You have
You
such
do.
amazing products. And I want to focus on the facet of you that is a mother. You're a playwright, you're an author, producer, director. You have done some amazing things. And I think about Butterfly Confessions, how you have been a healing agent in the community, bringing our emotions and our stories, our mourning, our joy, our beauty to the stage. And
Mhm.
because of this pandemic, we had to pivot. And
Big time.
yeah, big time. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes. So, well, as you mentioned, yes, I'm an author. I'm a playwright, producer, and director,
Uh-huh.
and so that was my primary job. I have my own production company, YYP and Associates, and I produce and direct plays, and I also created my own play. And so
Mm.
now other theaters produce and direct my play, Butterfly Confessions. But as you mentioned, during the pandemic, we had to pivot. And so I had just signed a contract, a pretty big contract with a theater in New York, the theater in Harriet Tubman's town.
Wow.
And literally, I got the deposit. I got that first deposit, and then the all of the news started coming out. The pandemic. Okay, you can
Mm.
have 100 people in a room. So we said, okay, well, let's hold off and see if it's going to be canceled. And then they say, no, you can have 50. Then it was like, okay, we're going to have to postpone this. Because remember, in the beginning, we all thought a few months and then we'd be back in
Yeah,
business again.
exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, so I had to learn to pivot really quickly after I was like, wait a minute, that was my bread and butter, my productions and people, licensing my play. But
I,
when the
wa- I want to
pandemic
talk
happened,
I want to talk about that a little bit too, Yetta, because somebody may be watching and realizing that they are not really informed about this licensing concept. Because
mm-hmm,
as you talked about it, I understood that you had a product that
mm-hmm,
you could sell to other people. You didn't have to physically be there, but you were
yes,
giving them the rights
mm-hmm,
to use your play
yes,
and to have a source of income. Am I stating
you are. So
that
when
correctly?
you produce a play,
Uh-huh.
the playwright gets paid for that. Now, usually you go through, there's a company called Samuel French, and they usually hold a large majority of the playwrights are, I don't know what the word is, but a large majority of them have their plays housed there. So if you want to
Yes.
produce a play, you can go to Samuel French, look up and see
Oh,
if they have that particular play, and then you would pay them. And I guess in turn, they pay the playwrights.
now who determines the value? Do you determine the value?
Well, that's the thing. So with Samuel French, there is pretty much a range, and it doesn't really fluctuate much. It's just a range, and you kind of pay. They'll tell you, are you going to do one show of the play? Are you going to do 2 showings? Are you planning on doing a run of the play? And based on how many productions of that particular play you're going to do, determines what your ultimate fee that you have to pay is going to be. But yeah, you can't use anybody's work without paying them. And so after I was paying to produce other people's work, I was going on the road. My production company was the first to produce the all-Black celebrity production of the Vagina Monologues. It was very successful. I was going on tour. I had my Mama I Made It moment in Jet magazine.
And remind us of some of the celebrities that you worked with that you hired them and you were
Yeah, so I've had the honor of working with Monique, Oscar winner Monique. So in that very first play, I had 4 actresses. It was Monique, Vanessa Bell Calloway, Wendy Raquel Robinson, and Ella Joyce. And so that sold out. It was in Hollywood, at a theater in Hollywood. It sold out, and everybody just kept raving about it. And in fact, that was Monique's very first play. So I had the honor of producing and directing her in her very first play.
Oh my goodness.
And then I went on. So after that year was successful, I went on again, because every year they do something in honor of ending violence against women and girls. And they have it in February. So instead of Valentine's Day, they do something called V-Day, but it's ending violence against women and girls. And it's usually around February every year. And so, each February for about 5 years, I kept producing and directing the Vagina Monologues. And so some of the other women I've had in the play, Sherry Shepherd, Taraji P. Henson, Iyanla Vanzant. I produced Iyanla Vanzant in her very first play as well, so I'm proud of that. Who else have I had? Oh, so many women. Let me see, Sherry Shepherd, Dawn Lewis, Vanessa Williams, Terry J. Vaughn. The list just goes on and on. It's been an amazing ride.
Now, what year span was that? What were you producing these?
So this was probably through, I would say the last year was up until 2009. So probably from 2002 or 3 up to 2009. And so after a while, for me, casting Black, because I knew, so we're talking about, so if you haven't seen the play, we're talking about vaginas, like literally vaginas. I mean, that's why it's called the Vagina Monologues. But we're talking about the molestation. We're talking about rape. We're talking about, some of the things that we go through as women, but we never talk about. But I noticed that we African-American women were missing in the audience. And so that's what precipitated me to start casting African-American women that we knew that could get us out to see, them and to hear these powerful stories.
We could relate to their pain. Yeah. And that was really before we became so transparent. We're more transparent now.
Yes.
You really were kicking the ceiling with that. I mean, that was very uncomfortable for a lot of women to discuss that. And then I got to witness your production of Butterfly Confessions through another one of our tribe sisters, Melanie Denise Cunningham in Tacoma. And many of our tribe sisters traveled to the state of Washington to, watch your amazing production. It was very emotional. And it was just such a proud moment. Like I was watching my daughter, like you were my daughter.
You were. I looked at some pictures and you were just looking like, oh.
My girl. And you see the connection of you and Melanie and how she was able to incorporate her student body and the talent and the rawness of the feelings and how it probably triggered a lot of people. And there were men in the audience, and I'm sure it was very empowering and educational. And then you had to go into this pandemic and pivot in a positive way. So I would like us to explore that now, because it's amazing how people that are creatives, would you consider yourself a creative?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Creativity is everything for me. It could be anything from coloring. I have an app on my iPad where I color. It could be, something as busy as producing and directing, but
Uh-huh.
I have to operate in that creativity. I
That
have
right
to.
brain, that
Yep.
right brain has got to light up.
Mhm.
It's got to
Yes,
light
yes.
up. And so, how did you come about selling incense to go from to incense? Tell us about the branding of your incense business and how that was birthed.
So, well, can I back up just a little bit to
Okay.
Melanie? Because I always tell people that it pays to be in the room. It's
That's
one thing to watch things from afar, but it pays to be in the room. And I'll never forget, I met Melanie at one of your retreats, one of the Malibu retreats. And I remember we just happened to be sitting at the same table for lunch. And you walked in and you said, "Oh, I'm glad to see y'all sitting together. Melanie, you're sitting with a powerhouse, and Yetta, you're sitting with a powerhouse. So
that's
y'all get
right.
to know each other." And then
Listen.
you said, "Tell her about Butterfly Confessions."
Uh-huh.
And so we started talking about it. I actually had one of the books in the car. I gave her a book, and the rest is history. She literally, if you look at some of the pictures from that particular retreat, like when you see Melanie, her head is just in the book reading. And before she left that retreat, she said, "I am bringing you to Tacoma to produce your play."
I talk about the power of proximity all the time.
Yes.
And this is one of the benefits, I just have to say it, of being a part of Women on the Grow, that
Mm-hmm.
we are about networking and connecting so many talented women, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of hidden figures. And so I'm so happy that, you reap the benefits of being a part of Women on the Grow, because
Absolutely.
people think it's just about, oh, we're just hanging out and having fun. No, we're networking, we're laughing,
Mm-hmm.
we're dancing, we're creating, we're
We're
healing,
healing.
we're
Yes.
traveling. We're all about self-care, which I know that's a big part of your motto of life, is the
Mm-hmm.
importance of self-care.
Yep. So yeah, so for me, being a part of Women on the Grow is one aspect of how I tap into my self-care.
Uh-huh.
Because as an introvert, I'm real good doing the loner thing, but I also know that I need to be with other women, like-minded women, not just other women, but other
Mhm.
like-minded women, positive women. We never have any drama. It
Never.
just fuels my soul in a way that I can't do that sitting at home by myself, you know? And so for me, I put it on my calendar. So when you announce an event, a retreat, whether it's us traveling to Hawaii, it's always so nice. So to have the Women on the Grow come and support me in Tacoma, as well as Melanie, that was really big for me, because I don't really have a lot of people to do that. So that just warmed my heart to be able to have you guys there with me. So
And you know what? You touched on something, Dr. Yetta, that I think a lot of people may be surprised, that creatives like you and me, we can be introverts. We can be very
mhm,
satisfied sitting at home all
yes.
by ourselves. And there's just so
Mhm,
much going on up here. And then we do have to get out and recharge our batteries. And when I realized
mhm,
that I was what they call an ambivert, I can be left brain and I can be right brained. And
mhm,
it just depends upon the people and the circumstances and the
yes.
environment. But for the most part, I realized that I do need to be an introvert, and there's nothing wrong with that, because
Mhm,
that's how I recharge my battery. That's how I meditate.
right.
And that's a good segue into the incense. My
Okay.
husband doesn't particularly like the smell of incense, so I don't get to
Mhm,
enjoy it at home. But
mhm,
we have our events, and you're burning the incense, and
yeah.
it's so designed. What are some of the benefits that you think are of having incense? Why would we want to buy incense? Why are you so
So
passionate about
I'm so
incense?
passionate about it because when I was growing up, okay, and I'm gonna give my age away. When I was growing up in the
Uh-huh.
70s, if
Yes.
you had dreadlocks or burned incense, people automatically thought you smoked weed, because at that point it was used primarily to cover up, drugs or something like that. But before that, people, the hippies, they were burning it for love. They were burning it for focus. They were burning with intention.
And
And
churches
so,
are burning incense.
yes, they do, especially frankincense. I grew up
Yes.
Catholic and I never knew what that smell was until I
Yes.
started my business. They were burning and they had the thing and they would go walk down the aisles and it smelled so good. That was frankincense that they were burning.
Exactly.
And so so incense is good. I like to say it's good for focus. It's good for helping because remember, you're lighting the stick. So there's a lot of focus that goes in that. There you have the fire, then you're lighting it, and then you have that smell that just brings you into the that helps you to focus and to be present. It also can help with anxiety, some depression. It can help with meditation, prayer, yoga. I have a lot of customers who are yogis. They burn it during their yoga classes, during the sound baths. So it's just helpful all the way around. So yeah. And then
I get that because all of our senses need to be stimulated, and some of us are more auditory, some of us are more visual, some of us more taste. But for those that really respond and are triggered by good smells, be it chocolate chip cookies or brownies, or the ocean. I would imagine they would really appreciate your product. And you have branded yourself so well. I mean, you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you have amazing photos and videos. Talk to those that are entrepreneurs about the importance of branding.
Well, so I moved over to, I was on Facebook exclusively on Facebook. And then with trepidation, I moved over to Instagram because, Instagram is all about the photo. And I'm like, well, how many photos of yourself can you take? And I really wasn't doing a lot of videos then, but I knew just from hearing other entrepreneurs that they were having a lot of success over on Instagram. And so I said, well, let me give it a try. And I moved over on Instagram, and now I'm primarily on Instagram. I'm barely on Facebook now. Yes, Instagram is my jam. I love it over there. But yeah, so branding and how you market is so digital marketing. I had to really learn more about the digital marketing aspect. It does matter. Photos matter. The quality of your videos matter. So, you have to get the right lighting. You have to get, you want to make sure your pictures are sharp and clear and not fuzzy or dim and dark. Those are things that people respond to. They respond to not necessarily pretty, but they respond to quality. And so that's what I made sure that I focused on was the quality. And so you mentioned the branding. So with my instance, all of the names. So when you hear the names, we have Black Girl Magic, Heal Thyself, Tranquility, Peace of Mind, Wake, Pray, Slay. They were also, they're intentionally named so that whatever you need, you can grab what you need. So if you need a little clarity, then go ahead and grab clarity and burn that. If you need to tap into your Black Girl Magic, then go ahead and burn that. Yeah. If you need the heal thyself, then go ahead and burn that. And so I was intentional about making sure that when we thought about incense, because I really want to rebrand how we think about incense. So we don't think about the weed. We don't think about that, incense is for everybody. And so I wanted it to be universal so that when we thought about it, we thought, oh yeah, I do need that. I need a little bit of piece of love in my mind, in my life. Yeah.
You pivoted so well during the pandemic with your Yetta. Is it Yetta?
Yetta better butter. Yetta better butter. Yetta better butter.
And
so
I know a lot of that was inspired by your awesome daughter, Deja.
Yes. So what happened with so during the pandemic, remember I had the production company, everything was closing down. So I had to figure out how was I going to make this pivot. So remember during the pandemic, it wasn't just the pandemic. We were also going through this social unrest, the Black Lives Matter movement. We were getting hit on all sides. And so for me, I had to think about, well, what do my customers need right now? So that's when some of my thinking, like, okay, well, what are some of the pain points?
Juices.
That's when my creativity started going again.
Yes.
What were some of the pain points? Well, one, we were staying home. There was a lot of fear. There was a lot of death. There was a lot of grief. There was a lot of anxiety. There was a lot of anger. I mean, it was just so many emotions happening at that particular time. So, so I would create different things like the quarantine mix. So that was basically a variety pack that tapped into, the tagline I had for that was, let me see, hold on, I wrote it down. It says, curated to help you make it through the Rona. That was a nickname for Corona. Curated to help you make it through the Rona trauma-free. And I sold out of that because people are like, I need that. And when they got it and responded,
you spoke to their pain. So that's a great business lesson, is to keep your ear to the ground. What do people need? That's one of the things I teach a lot, is find a need and fill it. And that's what I did with Women on the Grow. There was a need for women to feel seen, for women to come together, for women to feel like they're part of something that is positive, because what we do with the sister sowers like yourself is we bless other women that are going through hardships, but we also offer our own unique sisterhood where people feel like they know my name. Oh, they care about me. Oh, they send me cards. Oh, we can travel together. Oh, we can do things that I don't have to do it all by myself. And so I was feeling a need for myself that I didn't see for me. I created that, and you created and filled the need for people during the pandemic. What would you talk about? What would you say to us about the e-commerce and postage and all the costs that come with being an entrepreneur? And we wear so many different hats. We got to be the director, the producer, the secretary, the treasurer, the packaging, all of that.
The janitor, the everything.
Everything.
Yeah, there is a lot. So I would say, there were some lessons that I learned because like I mentioned, I started creating these kits as well as the Yetta Better body butters. And I noticed that when I'm sending out the incense, it's not too heavy. And so it's usually under a pound. And so the postage for that, I knew what that postage was. And I had that programmed into the website so that the postage would automatically attach to their order. But when I started changing up things and creating the body butters, those body butters are heavy.
Yeah.
And the kits, when I make those special custom boxes, those are heavy. And so I was like, okay, wait a minute. I'm charging them $6.95 for postage, but they're charging me $12, $14, $15. Yeah. And so I had to really, figure out how to work with that. And so those are a lot of the things that you have to think about, because the postage, you take a sale, but a part of that sale has to go to postage. And we're not talking about stamps. We're not talking about 37, 50 cents stamps. We're talking about dollars, and that adds up as well. So
I think that's why I stopped doing my love boxes, because by the time I did all the packaging and the printing and I'm gonna put a little extra something in here, and I'm gonna put a little extra love here, and then my time and my gas to go to the post office, and then you pay me by PayPal. And they take a fee out of that,
and they take their fee.
Postage. I'm like, Jewel, are we making a profit here?
Yes.
And so I think it's so awesome when we have people that support small businesses like us, because we don't have the bulk, we don't have the storage. And I would like, as we begin to close, to just share maybe 3 business lessons, because I'm sure there's somebody watching this that wants to be an entrepreneur. Maybe they're at a job they don't like, or maybe they're retired, or maybe they've got this idea and they haven't acted on it, or maybe they don't have a mentor, or maybe they don't really believe that they can do it. I mean, I think both you and I live on a principle, like just move through the fear and make it happen. Just do it, get started.
Yes.
Be a few life lessons you could share with my audience today.
Well, I would say if you're looking to embark on entrepreneurship, is to follow your passion. I like to call that to operate in your zone of brilliance. But I also find a lot of people don't know what their passion is. They're like, well, I don't have a passion. I don't know what that is. Usually it's the thing that people come to you for the most. If it's that pound cake, girl, can you make me a pound cake for Christmas or my birthday or Thanksgiving? that may be your gift. Cooking may be your gift. Baking may be your gift. Usually there are signs when people come to you often and they're asking you about it or they want your advice. You may be giving advice all day long. So maybe coaching might be something that you want to take a look at. For me, it was my creativity. And so I knew that I had to be doing something within the realm of creativity. So I would say first, follow your passion. The second thing I would say is when you start your business, don't expect your friends and family to sustain your business because you're never going to get rich by your friends and family. Not that they don't love you. Most of them will support you, but they're not going to support you enough to where you're going to hit that, six-figure, multi-million-dollar mark. It's going to be those people that you don't know. And that's one thing that I love. There's a meme out there that says, nobody supports you like a stranger you never met.
And I like the one that says, when you got the calling, it wasn't a conference call. When I got the calling to get on stage, nobody else got the call. So why was I going to be surprised if I didn't get the support? Of course, I do have some amazing support from my sister Joy and many of our sisters. But it's something that you would do for free. That's something that I realized. The passion is that thing that it won't let you go. You can't stop thinking about it. You're just thinking about it all the time. Now you have to go from a dream to how do I make that passion become profitable? And that's why I wanted to share some of your business lessons today.
Yeah. So don't get mad at your friends and family because you have to keep going. You know what I mean? And I heard someone say that, that you're on the right track when you start making sales and the sales start coming in from people that you don't know. And so that's when I said, oh, who is she? Who is this? And I love getting new customers. I love my repeat customers, but I love when I see a new name because I'm like, okay, that lets me know that people are watching, people are sharing, people are letting people know. So you want to keep selling and then sell again until you don't even recognize the customers who are coming in. And then the third thing I would say would be to understand and know everybody thinks that entrepreneurship is all about freedom, but in those beginning building stages, you're going to work harder for yourself than you've ever worked on your 9 to 5. So, and that freedom, that freedom doesn't come until later on.
We work around the clock. And then here, when I started, my children were much younger. Now I have a grandson, you have Deja, and we have to integrate being a mother, or in my case, a grandmother, being a wife, being a sibling. There are many women who are taking care of their parents. Women, we have to know how to juggle all of these things and not lose our mind and not get off track. And that's why sisterhood is so important for me.
Yes.
If I don't think if it wasn't for the sisterhood, I would have given up a long time ago. But when you can talk and you can share stories and you can get what I call rejuvenated,
yes.
you get like, okay, I'm not giving up. And so I think that's so cool that as you have navigated having your wonderful daughter Deja, and she sees you as an amazing role model, and she's like your teacher, and she's your stimulation, and she's your why you get up every day. I think that is so powerful. And maybe we could just close with, a little bit about how it is to be a mother and an entrepreneur, and to make sure that we're walking the walk and that we are congruent and in alignment with our values and that we're passing it along to our children. What would you say to a mother that has children and wants to be an entrepreneur?
I heard a saying that says, we can have everything, we just can't have it all at one time. And so I kind of agree with that because before I had Deja, so I'm a mom, they told me I couldn't have children. So I didn't have Deja. She was my miracle child. I didn't have her until I was 42. And prior to that, we mentioned all the productions and the celebrities that I've worked with. That was prior to me having Deja. But then once I had Deja, I moved into another season. I moved into the season of motherhood. Yeah. And so, but having her was just the greatest blessing. It was like God knew what I needed at that time. And here comes this little girl. Now I carried her the whole time thinking I was having a boy. But here comes Deja, and that's so like her, just defying the odds, kicking and screaming, honey. And so just having Deja, being an entrepreneur, you know, sometimes she helps me and I even pay her. Now, a lot of you mentioned my videos. Deja edits my videos. She's 10 and she edits my videos. I pay her. I said, Deja, mommy will pay you $5 for every video that you edit for me. She said, well, I think $6. She said, because it's a lot of work. And I said, you know, it is a lot of work. That's why I'm getting you to edit for me. But I said, okay, I can pay you $6. And so she sees me, she sees the body butters. And so Deja has type 1 diabetes. And we use the body butters as a tool to raise money for her diabetes camp. And so she gets on and she talks about the body butter and, you know, that she wants to go to camp and that she's raising money for it. And so she sees me do everything. She helps me pack up the incense. She could probably talk about the incense better than I can.
Wow, that is so cool.
Yeah, so she gets to see mommy in her full entrepreneurship. And when we did the Butterfly Confessions in Tacoma, Washington, it was important for me that her dad brought her because I wanted her to see. She sees me all the time on the computer and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And she sees me with the book, but I wanted her to see the book, what happened, the actual manifestation of the book. Yes. And so she came to that to actually see the play. And that was a proud moment for me because she had never seen mommy do any of her plays. So she only knew the at-home mom.
That is so cool. I love that. Well, this has been such a great conversation. I always love talking with you, and I thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to share your pearls of wisdom and your story, your passion, your entrepreneurship journey. And I would love for our audience to know how to reach you, Yetta. So is there a website, an email, or Facebook handle, or what platforms can they reach you on?
Yes. So we mentioned Instagram. I told you that's my jam. So I'm over on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Incense Love Meditation. On Facebook, you can also find me at Incense Love Meditation or my personal page, which is Yetta Young.
Okay.
My website is www.incensesnobs.com. That's what we call our customers, incense snobs, because we're very particular.
All right.
That's a part of the branding and a part of the marketing. We're very particular about our incense. So incensesnobs.com. And that's it. Yeah. I think those are the primary places you can find me: Instagram, Facebook, and at my website.
All right, honey. Well, I got to say, snaps, because honey, you look this scrub. You always, I mean, the head wrap, the jewelry, the colors, and I know we both love plants. So it was just, this was so much fun today. And I just wish you all the best in all of your endeavors. And I'm so proud to call you my sister friend, my Women on the Go sister friend. I love you.
I love you more.
Stay in the light, everybody. Stay tuned for the next edition of Interviews with yours truly, Jewel Diamond Taylor.